And thank you guys for watching on Facebook and YouTube. And that reminds me to go to my Facebook channel and get us started here. Wrong one. All right. So I'm going to go to, I'm looking at my Facebook page. I think we are live on the center page. Okay. All right. And now we are also live on my YouTube. All right, you guys. Well, welcome back to now. Welcome back to now. All right. So let's just take about 2 minutes and just close our eyes and listen to some music and just do something really radical and just actually be here right now in this holy instant right now. Just take a moment and breathe. And tune your awareness like a dial on a radio to the frequency and the vibration of this moment now. What does this moment now feel like? What does it feel like to have your mind just be right here, right now, where you are? And let's do something different and just allow our minds to rest in the perfection of this present moment now, trusting in the perfection, trusting in the perfection of the present moment, trusting that this present moment has everything you could possibly need for perfect peace and joy. And for a moment, allow yourself to just rest in the power and the perfection and the peace of the present moment. What does it feel like to allow your mind to rest in trust? Trust in the present moment's perfection. Tell yourself, in this moment, I need do nothing but trust in love. Let's practice resting our mind in the fact that we remain exactly as love has created us, perfect, complete, and eternal, and guiltless now and forever. Let's allow our mind to trust in the truth about ourselves. Now I want you to thank whatever part of you brought you to this class today, whatever brought you to this broadcast, to this class. I want you to thank that part of you, the part of you that knows you and loves you and wants you to accept the loving, only loving truth about yourself. Thank you, self. And let us thank the source of our creation. Thank you for creating me. Thank you for creating me perfect, which means complete. Thank you for creating me sinless and guiltless forever. Thank you for creating me as only love, eternal love, changeless love. Thank you. Thank you, Source. Thank you. Thank you for creating me as an eternal spirit that cannot die and cannot lose. Thank you. Thank you, God. And then just take another deep breath, allowing that feeling and that rest to set within you. And then when you're ready, open your eyes and bring your awareness back to the room and back to this space. All right. Welcome, everybody. I love it. I opened my eyes and the name I saw, the YouTube name is Cute Blob. Hi, Cute Blob. I was like, is someone talking to me? Cute Blob. Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right. Wonderful. Hi, Patty. Lovely to see you. And yes. All right. And Carla, are you on the, if you're on the YouTube page, there's some new folks here who are wondering what the heck is going on. And that is just too long of a story for me to tell. So yeah, thank you. Wonderful. All right, you guys. Well, what's going on here is we are going to be reading and studying from A Course in Miracles. So this is a Course in Miracles class, and that's what we do here at the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center, whose purpose is the study and the teaching of A Course in Miracles. And so where we're going to be at today in A Course in Miracles is in the teacher's manual. So if you need a book, it's right here, and we are going to be in the teacher's manual in question number 4. And the question is, what are the characteristics of God's teachers? So what is a teacher of God? A Course in Miracles says that a teacher of God is somebody who at some point in time looked at another human being and realized that that person's interests were not separate from their own. And in that moment, that person became a teacher of love, because that is what love sees and that is what love knows. Love knows that when it sees somebody else, that they're not seeing somebody else. Love, when love looks at somebody, they go, that is a part of myself, and their peace is my peace, and my peace is their peace. The Course in Miracles teaches us that we are one, that we truly are connected. The same thing that quantum physics now teaches us as well, that quantum physics lets us know we're all connected, we're all one. If that is true, what does that mean? That means that what you experience, I experience with you. What I experience, you experience with me, even though it does not seem like that. Now, so somebody who has seen the truth, they looked at another person and went, oh, this person is not separate from me. This person and I are connected because we're all one. And so their interests are not separate from my own interest. As they have peace, I have peace. As I have peace, they have peace. All right. So a teacher of God is someone who at one moment, at some point in time, looked at another human being somewhere and did not see separate interest, saw someone that they recognized was connected to them. And the Course in Miracles tells us that at that moment, that person became a teacher of God, which really means a teacher of love. Once you recognize that we are all connected, and the people that you see, they are not separate from you, they are connected to you, and that there's a reason why you're seeing this person, that person automatically becomes a teacher of love. They become a teacher of God. Even if they don't believe in God, they still become a teacher of love, which means now that's their holy profession. Of Course in Miracles says your profession is to be a teacher of love, even if you don't understand that or believe that. Okay. And this teacher's manual is geared for people who have become teachers of love, even if they don't even know what love is, right? So that's what the teacher's manual is. All right. Thank you, Carla. All right. So you guys who are new here, Carla will be responding to your questions. And thank you, Carla, for doing that. All right. Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So everybody here obviously is a teacher of love. And the Course in Miracles defines God as love. What is God? Love. Where is God? Everywhere, right? So that's what we are here. We are teachers of love. And we're going to be talking about, in this section, it's talking about the characteristics that you are going to be developing as a teacher of love. As a teacher of love, you are given special gifts, which are really characteristics which you will be developing, which will be being developed in you. As a teacher of love, what happens to you is you become more loving, you become more God-like. And so I'm just going to list off the characteristics that are being developed in you. This is what you become. This is the gifts that are given you by God as you develop in your profession as a teacher of love. Did you know that you are a teacher of love? Is that on your business card? It should be. I am a professional teacher of love. You know why? Not because I've mastered it, but because I want to. And according to this curriculum, whatever it is that you want to have or become or be, the only way that you can achieve that is to give it, to teach it, to extend it, to share it. So since I want to be happy, and since I want to be free, and since I want to experience myself as loving and lovable, then I have to teach it. Since I want to experience myself as innocent and deserving only love, I have to teach that to other people. And so I am generous and loving at first out of self-interest, right? I have to teach it because I want to experience only that for myself, right? So let me tell you what the characteristics of love's teachers are. The characteristics you will be developing. The first one is trust. The second one is honesty. The third one is tolerance. The fourth one is gentleness. The fifth one is joy. Sixth is defenselessness. The seventh is generosity. The eighth is patience. Ninth is faithfulness. And the last characteristic that you will develop as a teacher of love is open-mindedness. That funny? That's the first one we thought we were. We all thought, well, I'm so open-minded. Goes, that's the last thing you develop. If you were truly open-minded, you would never judge. So we know that we're not truly open-minded yet. But these are characteristics that we will be developing or will be being developed in us as teachers of love. All right. Now, is there anybody who does not like that job description? Anybody who's like, I already have a job. My job pays better. Actually, no, your job does not pay better. There's no job that does not have a better benefits package than this job of bringing more love into the world. What in the world is more needed than more love? Anything? Anybody? More? Yeah. What is needed here more than more love? Anything? Okay. If that is the thing that is most needed in this world, then whoever is the bringer of that has the most important job. And according to A Course in Miracles, when your will for humanity is the same as God's will for humanity, which is love, only love, then now your job is supported by the universe. It's like going on cosmic scholarship. The only thing God wants for God's creation is love. That's it. And when you agree and go, yeah, God, that's all I want to bring to humanity too. Now God's like, well, great. We are on the same team now. And now here, I will support you in your purpose because your purpose is now one with the universal purpose. So there are no jobs with better benefits than deciding that your only purpose is to be a bringer of love into a world of darkness, into a world where fear and guilt and death and pain and suffering seem to dominate. Anybody notice that? Seems to be a lot of suffering going on around the world, a lot of darkness. Of Course in Miracles says your holy function is to be a bringer of light into the world of darkness. So that's the only thing the world really needs is the light of love. That's what the world needs. I know it sounds so cliche and so cheesy, but it's true. It's the truth. The truth is simple and the truth is universal, right? And the truth is not something that was just discovered in the new age. The truth is eternal. And the truth that is eternal is only love, that God is only love, and you are only love, and only love is real, and you deserve only love. And your only function is to give only love. And once you decide that that's your only job, in whatever form you like doing it, right? That's your special function, according to the Course in Miracles. Your holy, godly function is just to be loving in whatever way is most fun for you, whatever makes more sense. Like I love being loving through teaching. I also love being loving through jumping on the trampoline. It's like the universe doesn't care, doesn't matter what form, but once you decide that your only purpose is to be loving, is to bring light into the darkness, in whatever form makes you happiest, now you go on cosmic scholarship. Now the whole universe supports you because your purpose is now in alignment with the universal purpose, which is that humanity remember what it is and wake up and be healed and be happy. That's it. It's so simple. Now, as a teacher of God, a teacher of love, again, that's all you're doing. That's somebody who's like, I do want to learn that I am only love and I deserve only love. I do want to learn that I am guiltless instead of full of guilt. And so the only way I can experience that is to teach it. So that's what I want to learn how to do. I want to learn how to teach only love. And so now that makes you a teacher of love, a teacher of God. And now you go to learn what all is involved in your new job. And Course in Miracles says that your job as a teacher of love is unlike a worldly job. So in your worldly job, you go to school, you learn how to do whatever you're going to do in your worldly job. Okay, you go to engineering school or you go to whatever school to learn, and then you go to your job and you do it. Course in Miracles tells us that first you accept your job and you become that thing, and then you learn about it. So first you say, I want to be a teacher of love. I want to be a healer. And then as you do it as guided by love, you become that. You develop the characteristics. You develop the qualities of your new profession. All right. So beautiful. Yes. All right. Okay. So guys, we are in the teacher's manual, question number 4. And let's see here, do this, show. Let's do this. Okay, show. All right, it's not showing. Okay, no problem. All right, guys. Thank you, Carla, for doing all that. Okay, here we go. So it says trust. It says trust is the foundation on which our ability to fulfill our function rests. That's pretty important. So to fulfill our function as teachers of love, we're going to have to develop the ability to trust. Perception is the result of learning. In fact, perception is learning. You know why? Because cause and effect are never separate. The teachers of God have trust in the world because the teachers of love have learned that the world is not governed by the laws the world made up. Oh. And so now when it says the teachers of God have trust in the world because they've learned that the world's not governed by laws the world made up, what I hear is the teachers of love have trust while they're in the world. So there's a way of being in the world where you are not full of fear and you're not full of doubt and you're not full of terror, but you here in the world in a body, then you walking around and you are full of trust. You're not trusting in the world, like the laws of the world better, come on, laws of the world will keep me safe, right? Yeah. We're not walking around having trust in the laws of the world, like, oh, I trust the government is going to take care of me. I trust that my government has my own best interest. It's not like that. Okay. It's like, that's for sure. If you're having trust in the world to take care of you and keep you safe and make you happy, then you're going to be terrified all the time. You have every reason to be anxious and pissed off to the max if you are putting your trust in the world, especially our government, okay, or anything outside of you. All right. But the teachers of God walk around feeling a sense of trust. They feel calm. They feel safe because they feel a sense of trust because they know that the laws governing the world are not the laws the world made up. what's happening in the world is not being governed by the laws the world made up. Okay. And so the teachers of love walk around feeling safe in this crazy world because they know that what happens here don't have anything to do with something outside of them. They know that what's happening here is determined by their choices, what they are giving to the world themselves. Okay. All right. So that's what teachers of love know. They know that what's happening here isn't governed by the laws the world made up. They know it's being governed. So even when seemingly crazy, catastrophic, scary things are happening in the world, the teacher of love's like, I am going to continue to give love. I'm going to continue to be loving to myself and everybody around me, trusting in that love, trusting that my experience in the world is determined by what I'm offering. And so even if catastrophic, frightening things are happening, I know I can still experience myself as safe and at peace because of because of a choice that I have the power to make, a power that's in myself, power of choice, that I can utilize. All right. So that's how teachers of love feel safe in the crazy world around them. Isn't that practical? Especially in times like this, where it seems like the world just seems to get more and more dangerous by the day. Yeah. Anybody notice that? Okay.
And one of the passages that I've gone back to a million times from my childhood is, greater is that which is in me than that which is in the world.
Exactly. And say that one more time so I can hear that.
Greater is that which is in me than that which is in the world.
Yes, greater in me is that which is in the world. Exactly. And also another quote that we've all heard is that be in the world, but not of the world. Okay. The teachers of love know that they are in the world, but not of the world. And so they are able to be in the world that seems so dang crazy, but yet full of trust in the power that's in them, but not of them. Okay. And this is what we are developing as teachers of love. We are developing the ability to trust in a power that is in us, but not of us. We are developing the ability to trust the power that's in us that is greater than the seeming power of the world around us. All right? That's what we are developing as teachers of God, teachers of love. Doesn't that sound handy and practical? I mean, really, honestly, I wonder how anybody can have peace in this world when they don't know about the power that's in them to bring peace wherever they're at, whatever is happening. You know what I mean? To be in this world and you don't know that there's a power in you that is greater than all the seeming laws of the world. That's really scary. And that's why most human beings are terrified most of the time. Most humans have found ways to hide their fear and their terror from themselves. And so they distract the crap out of themselves because they're so scared. They're so afraid. Because truly, if you don't know about the power that's in you, that's greater than all the so-called laws of the world, you're going to be scared because this can be a scary place. So this is ultimately helpful. I love it. And then George says, nothing real can be threatened. Exactly. That's exactly what we're talking about. And then Monica says, I keep revisiting the same story of codependent behavior and trying to heal this, but I never will if I don't love myself. Very good. That's exactly right. And then Monica says, why do you look fab all the time? That's a great question, Monica. That's because of the power that's in me that's not of me. That's for darn sure.
She has correct perception.
And the other reason is because this is a freaking Course in Miracles. That's why. So I always say that, that forgiveness is the ultimate fountain of youth. Truly, forgiveness is the ultimate fountain of youth. Because even if your grievances do seem to make sense and are valid in the world of time and space, your grievances are still poison to you, body, mind, and spirit. Body, mind, and spirit, all three. And so forgiveness is the ultimate fountain of youth. And learning that you're eternal, that's a good fountain of youth too. What's the fountain of youth? Realizing you're eternal. All right. And then I don't know if you saw that one of the memes I sent you, Carla, that came to me the other day when I was jumping on the trampoline. But it was said the fountain of youth. Anyway, I can't remember it, but it was something about, oh yes, it said defy the effects of gravity and fear and jump for joy.
And then to maintain your youth, think and act like the child who knows they don't know everything and never misses a chance to play.
There you go. To maintain your youth, think and act like the child who knows they don't know everything and never misses an opportunity to play. Yeah. And you can find those on my Facebook page and my website. Yes.
Related quote.
Soon.
Soon. I think came from Timothy Leary a while ago was avoid terminal adulthood.
Avoid terminal adulthood. Exactly. Okay, beautiful. Now then we're still in paragraph 1 and sentence number 5. And it says, the world is governed really by a power that is in you, but not of you. That's what really governs the world, okay? Now that makes me feel safer in the world to know that what's happening around me in the world is being governed not by the world, but by a power that's in me. That makes me feel so much safer. It makes me feel less vulnerable because what's happening out there is not what's determining what happens within me or in my life. So I'm not a victim of the world I see. The teacher of love knows that they're not a victim of the world they see, because the world they see is not being governed by the laws of the world, but by the power that's in them, but not of them. And what is that power that's in us that's not of us? Love. I'm not the author or originator of love. Then another description of the power that's in me but not of me is my power of decision. My power of decision, my choice as to how I want to see and what I want to think and what voice in my mind I want to listen to. The Course in Miracles describes that as a power. That is a power. Your choice is your power. Your choice to love instead of fear, that's a power. That's your superhero power that nothing can take away from you. Nothing can take away from you your true power, which is the only real power in the world. It's not the government that has the power. It's our power of decision to choose to love instead of fear. Yes.
Which is another way of saying that power of decision in the world produces our ability to heal.
That's exactly right.
My power of choosing love over fear is the choice between healing and disease.
Yes, that's exactly right. So the power to love is also the power to heal. And the power to love is also the power to create whatever beautiful thing you would like to experience. You know, we have a creative power that is like God's creative power. The Course in Miracles tells us that God gave us the same power to create that God has. My goodness, that's no small thing. That means that any perception of myself as limited or lacking or weak or mortal is a lie. If I have the power to create like my Creator does, then it's not true that I'm limited here or I'm limited there by that or this. That's not true. If I have the power to create like my Creator does, and that's what A Course in Miracles tells us, that God created us to be creators, to create along the lines of our own creation. God, and the only difference between us as a creator and God as a creator, the Course in Miracles tells us, is that God created us first. That's it. So you're telling me that I have the same power to create as God does. Is that right? That means that all my perceptions of limitations and lack, all of them are a lie that I have learned. That's just crazy.
One of the things I love about this passage is that it takes the point of contact and power back. You know, it's so easy to feel like you don't have a voice, that those that are in quote unquote power do not hear your voice.
Yes.
And yet this says, no, the voice is instant contact.
Yes, that's right.
Instant contact. I always have that place of true authentic power where I can let go and be heard.
That's exactly right. I always have that place of true authentic power where I can be heard. And that is within me. That power is within me. Now, it's a power that's in me, but it's not of me. So it's like, I'm not the one who gave myself that power. I didn't go to school to get that power. That power was given me. It was part of my creation. Okay? And we all have it. Wow, amazing. Thank you. Okay, so now, what else? Okay, so the teachers of God know that the world is governed by a power that is in them, but not of them. And it is this power that's in us, but not of us, that keeps all things safe. I love hearing that. To me, I always pay attention to the word safe. Because that's what I'm what was that about being safe? What was that? Where does real safety come from? Real safety comes from this power that is in you, but not of you. This is the power that keeps all things safe. Whew, that is awesome. I'm so glad I have a power in me that has the power to do that. I'm so glad I am hearing that. And it is through this power that is in you, but not of you, that you, teachers of love, look on a forgiven, safe world. Would anybody like to be able to look on this world and see it as forgiven, safe? Wouldn't that be a big improvement? That would be a humongous improvement on the way I see the world now. I don't know about you guys, but when I look out on the world at the moment, I don't exactly see a forgiven, safe, and happy world. How about you?
Right.
Okay, especially if you turn your TV on. TV. Oh my God. The television lie Vision.
I love it.
Television. Tell, lie. Vision. All right. Now, so then it says, and then that was paragraph 1. Now, paragraph 2. Now, when this power that is in you, but not of you, has one time been experienced, then it is impossible to trust your own petty strength again.
I love that.
One time when you experience this power that is in you that trumps all the seeming powers of the world outside you. One time when you're like, oh boy, this seems horrible. This seems like a disaster. I mean, this seems like an unmitigated disaster. Like, this is terrible. And you're like, but I am going to trust that the power within me, my choice to love instead of attack, is going to keep me safe. And you choose that power, you engage that power, and the next thing you know, what you see outside of you has been transformed from a disaster into a miracle. One time, and you're like, whoa. You can never, ever, it'll be impossible for you to trust your own petty strength again. One time. Right? Yes. Okay, let's try it. Next time you're looking out there and you're not seeing a forgiven world, you're seeing an unmitigated disaster. Next time you experience that, go, you know what? Even though it seems like it's impossible for peace and safety to be in this situation, I am going to use the power within me to choose love instead of fear or attack right now. And then see what happens. And then when you see that, whoa, that power in me was greater than the seeming power of that disaster out there, then and it transformed it, then you're like, whoa, okay, it'll be impossible for you to trust your own petty strength again. Isn't that powerful? And you'll experience yourself, the more powerful and creative you experience yourself, the safer you will feel. You know, I don't feel safe in the world because I think that the world has more power than me. I think the world has more power than me, and it has power over me, and that's why I'm scared, which is also why I'm pissed off. Because what's underneath all my anger? I can't believe they're doing what they're doing. How dare they? Blah blah. What's underneath my anger at those out there is because I'm terrified. I'm so scared. I'm thinking that, oh my God, this is going to make my life horrible, or this is going to hurt me in some way, shape, or form. That's why I'm angry. I'm not angry just because they're idiots. Even though they are, calls for love idiots like me. I'm angry because I'm terrified, which is the same as saying I feel powerless. When I feel powerless, I feel scared, and that's what makes me angry.
So this first sentence in the second paragraph, do you infer from that, once this power has been experienced, connotes to me that experience is almost like revelation?
Yes, that experience is like a revelation. When you go, holy cow, I trusted in that power within me to choose love instead of attack, and oh my God, it completely transformed. That's a revelation.
Okay, because I'm asking for clarity there, because I can think of many instances in my life when I have been confronted with situations that just seem, I have no idea how to resolve this, and I have turned it over to Spirit, and always been amazed at the outcome. And yet, I still, I apparently have not had this one revelatory like experience, because I tend to go back and to trust in myself to solve all the other problems that I'm confronted with.
Right. By changing what's happening out there, by trying to break the laws of the world. Yeah, exactly.
I think there's a distinction in that paragraph there. It doesn't say I don't go back to those things.
Mhm.
It says I don't trust my own anymore.
Exactly.
So I begin to lose trust in my way of doing things.
Yes.
Doesn't mean I won't keep trying.
Right.
I'm very stubborn.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I'm trying to get clarity on here.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not that I won't ever go back to it. It's that my trust in my own ability starts to get shaky.
That's right. Exactly. It says it will be impossible for you to trust your own petty strength again. So even when you try to trust your own petty strength again, your own ego strength of attack and fear, you'll be like, yeah,
It's not working.
that's not working.
So if I was editing that sentence for myself, it would be impossible for me to completely trust
That's right.
my own petty strength.
Very good. Very good. Yes. All right. And it says, when this power that's in you has one time been experienced, it'll be impossible to trust your own petty strength completely again. Because who would attempt to fly with the tiny strength of a sparrow when the mighty wings of an eagle have been given them? Wow. And so when you are trusting in the power that's in you but not of you, you are flying with the wings of an eagle. When you are trusting in your own petty strength again, which is when you're trusting in what you learned from the past that kept you safe, like attack and fear, then you're trying to fly with the tiny wings of a sparrow, where you could be flying with the wings of an eagle, And so trusting in one's own petty strength is, last time I was afraid, what I did was I judged and I attacked and I got scared, and so that's trusting in your own petty strength to make you safe, right? And that's trying to fly with the tiny wings of a sparrow, okay? But as teachers of love, we are learning how to stop trusting in what we learned to do to make us safe in the past, to access a power that we are now learning is within us, but that didn't come from us. That's what we're learning how to do. Okay, we're learning how to fly with the wings of an eagle instead of the tiny wings of a sparrow. Now, and who, in other words, would place their faith in the shabby offerings of their ego, their past, when the gifts of God are laid before them? And what is it that induces us to make this shift? What shift? Where we're shifting from placing our faith in what we learned in the past to keep us safe to placing our faith in this power that is in us but not of us. What in the world could induce us to make this shift?
So this animal shift, this sparrow should be to an eagle.
Yes, exactly. How is it that we go from flying with the tiny wings of a sparrow to being someone who flies with the mighty wings of an eagle?
Trust.
Yes, the development of trust. Exactly. All right. Wonderful. And then Greg says, yes, all power in earth and heaven is given me. What I bind on earth has been bound in heaven, and what I release is released. Exactly. Beautiful. Okay. All right. So questions or comments before we dive into what in the world would make us, induce us to start developing trust in the power in us instead of in the world to keep us safe? Okay, any questions or comments? Any yes buts?
Exchange my sparrow wings.
What'd you say?
I'm ready to exchange my sparrow wings.
Carla says she's ready to exchange her sparrow wings for some eagle wings.
Wow.
Ready for the Eagle Wing download.
Okay, beautiful. You already have them. That's right. Okay, now here's how it goes. Here's where you've been trusting in your own petty strength, you know, when stuff is happening that frightens you, what you've been doing is you've been like, okay, how did I learn how to protect myself and make myself feel safe in the past? Okay, I'm going to attack, I'm going to judge, I'm going to be afraid, I'm going to plan, I'm going to make a bunch of plans. You know, these are all the how we have been utilizing our own petty strength to help us to feel safe. Okay, now how do we shift from trusting in our own petty strength to trusting in the power that's in us but not of us? Well, here's how it goes. It goes like this. First, you must go through what might be called a period of undoing. Oh no. First, you must go through what might be called a period of undoing. Now, this period of undoing need not be painful. This period of undoing need not be painful, but this period of undoing is usually experienced as painful. You know why? Because in this period, it seems as if things are being taken away. Anybody ever gone through a period where it seems like things are being taken away? Anybody going through one of those right now? Well, you can always tell because it seems to be painful. It's usually experienced as painful. Okay. So it says, and during this period of undoing, where it seems like things are being taken away and it's being experienced as painful, it is rarely understood initially that what's really going on is that their lack of value, the lack of value of the things that seem to be being taken away is merely being recognized. Okay. All right. So in the period where it seems like things are being taken away from us and it feels painful, rarely are we realizing, oh, I wasn't valuing that job or that relationship as much anymore because it wasn't producing peace anymore. And that's why it's being taken away, because it's not valuable anymore. I've been recognizing that I don't really want that anymore. Rarely do you recognize that, oh, I wasn't valuing that much anymore, and it wasn't being helpful to me having peace anymore, and so it's being taken away so that I can go on to the next wonderful thing. Rarely is it ever recognized as such. It just feels like things are being ripped away from me, and it's painful, and I feel like a victim. Okay. And now, why is it that a period of time where it seems like things are being taken away from me and it's painful, why would that be the first phase of me developing trust in the power that's in me but not of me? Why? Because unless you are in a position where you have to see things in a different light, you wouldn't be willing to see things in a different light. You wouldn't be willing to try something different unless you were forced to.
I like my comfort zone.
Exactly. Thank you. Unless your comfort zone was taken away from you, even though that your comfort zone really wasn't making you comfortable at all, right? You know, wasn't making you happy. Unless you're pulled out of your comfort zone, then you'll never be in a position to go, hey, that relationship was not very healthy. or that job was really not healthy at all for me, until we're so addicted to our comfort zones, even though they don't really make us peaceful or happy. We think that being comfortable is peaceful. Until it's pulled away, then we're not forced to go, hey, that really wasn't very healthy or peaceful or productive for me at all. That's what it takes for us in order to go, hey, let me invest my faith in something that is within me instead of placing my faith in something outside me, like that relationship or like that job or like this or like that. Right? Does that make sense? So as we are developing our trust in the power that's in us but not of us to keep us safe, then all the other things that we were investing our faith in, what happens to them? They seem to be taken away. All the things I had been placing my faith in to keep me safe and happy, even though they weren't making me safe and happy, really, are being now pulled away. Why? So that I can go, oh, those things really were never keeping me safe or happy or fulfilled or abundant. But until they're pulled away, I'm not in a position where I could even see that, right? Okay, everybody take a breath. Everybody breathe. No, this section, my ego hates this section too. My ego really does. It's just like, but if you are going through a period of time where things seem to be being taken away from you and it feels painful, and you hear this, you're like, oh, that's what's going on. Oh, that's wonderful news.
Better than what I was thinking.
It's exactly right. It's a lot better than what I was thinking. I was thinking that I was a failure. I was thinking that people were abandoning me. I was thinking that people were rejecting me. I was thinking that I was a loser. I was thinking there was something wrong with me. No, there was something so right about you. Now you are evolving. And for you to learn the truth about where your true power and safety and joy comes from, the things that you thought they were coming from, that they were never coming from, need to be pulled away so that you can see that your peace doesn't depend on that relationship. Your abundance doesn't depend on that job. Your peace of mind and safety doesn't depend on what's happening outside of you in the world. But unless those things were taken away, you would never have a chance to really get it and be free.
So that last point in that what you just read about the gaining of perspective reminds me of the worldly truism that hindsight is 20/20.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Or being too close to the forest to see the tree.
Yes.
And so it's helpful for me in processing what this first part of this paragraph said, mm-hmm. is to try to remember those situations that I've been compelled to be separated from, mm-hmm. and remember that after a time I could see, oh yeah,
right.
This really,
that was helpful.
It was really helpful.
That was helpful, exactly. And that's what it goes on in this section to say, that what enables you to go through these phases or stages of developing trust in something that's within you for your peace and abundance is the awareness or the faith that says somehow this is helpful. And so Monica, thank you for sharing, Monica. We were talking about, being in a phase where things are being taken away. And Monica says, my car was stolen, my house was robbed. And then she says, is 60 too old to have a better life? I hope not.
Yeah,
I sure hope not. I sure am counting on that a good life comes from where? The power that's in me, but not of me, meaning in me, not of my body, not of my body's age. And so, so that's a great example of a period of undoing where things seem to be being taken away from you. Like, for instance, your car being stolen and your house robbed, for instance, and, but if you've been placing your faith, your feeling of safety and peace and abundance in something outside you, like your car, like your house, like this relationship, like this government, then you can see how when it's taken away, it's very painful. It's very frightening. But then, like Matt was saying, later on, you realize, you know what? If that had not happened, I would not have invested my trust within the power that's in me, but not of me, to make me happy. That which makes me safe and happy and fulfilled is what's within me, my mind, my thoughts, my purpose, my true identity. If that had not happened and those things had not been taken away from me, then I would never have had to look within to find a source of peace and sustenance and abundance and joy that now can never be taken away from me. Nobody can take that away from me now that I've discovered it within myself and it's eternal. Now my sense of safety and joy and abundance can never be taken away from me. Not that it could be taken away before, but now I know where it is. And now I don't have to worry about losing where my real safety and joy and abundance really comes from. It comes from the power that's in me, but not of me. You see? And we all, as a psychotherapist, I've heard so many people saying, I'm so glad I experienced that cancer. I'm so glad I experienced that divorce. Thank God I experienced that. I lost my house, whereas when it first happened, they were devastated with pain, understandably. But then later they realized if that had not happened, I would not have been pushed into a position where I had to look for, where is the happiness, where is the safety, the sense of happiness and fulfillment that can't be taken from you if your house washes away or burns down, or if somebody leaves you. Where is that? I would have never been forced to look within for that love and that joy and that power that cannot be taken from me, because it was given to me in my creation, by my creator. Wow. Now, that is a way of looking at the pain, the painful times when it seems like things are being taken away. That's a way to look at it, where you can go, where it will reduce the pain. It will reduce the pain of that experience. I am being forced to develop my trust in God in me, in the truth in me that has the power to make me happy now and forever. No exceptions, no conditions. So, yes.
I have a very brief story that goes with this, and it's poignant to me even as I'm thinking of it this morning. Last summer, we were moving back up to Denver from the Colorado Springs area, and we rented an external storage facility, and put all of our stuff into that storage facility so that it could be transported up here. In the middle of and it had everything, my altar, all my art, my journals, my everything was already stacked in it. And in the middle of the night, it was robbed. And so everything, literally, so when I get a new apartment, I have nothing to put on my walls. I have no furniture to put in it. It's gone, right? Except for the bed that I was sleeping in that was still in the house. And so as my new place had to evolve, a new me has evolved with it, right?
Yep.
And I was grateful that I had enough loss sounds funny, but I was grateful I had enough loss in my experiences
Mhm.
to know, well,
To
that
trust.
was done being with me.
Exactly.
And it was gone.
Mhm.
And so now I have a whole different vibe, a whole different energy
Mhm.
that matches to who I am today.
Right. So the experience of having your housing stuff robbed,
Yeah.
you used it to deepen and develop your trust in the power that's in you to provide everything you need when you need it.
And it was, and it is.
And it did. And so now you could never trust your ego's perception of pain ever again. So when the ego gives you the perception of pain, this is terrible, I was robbed. When your ego gives you that pain, that painful perception, now you're not like, oh, this is hard. Now you're like, well, last time that happened, what I received was better, that I could never have received if that old stuff had not been taken.
And ego keeps coming back and saying, oh, let's go get that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, I don't have that thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Which then converts me to the mindset of, and what do I have now? So previously present, what do I have now?
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. You see how valuable this is in terms of developing your internal peace of mind, such that no matter what happens out here, no matter what comes or goes, what you receive or what seems to be being taken away, you're still able to maintain your peace of mind. What could be more valuable than that? Something that enables me to maintain my peace and joy and abundance no matter what happens out there. There's nothing more valuable than that. Nothing. Wow. Okay. And then Greg says, my interpretation and opinions of things are being taken. Greg says, my interpretation and opinions of things are being taken away. Right on. And then I know that one's really painful. It's like, how dare you disagree with my opinion? You know how angry we get when somebody disagrees with when somebody says, I don't agree with that. We're like, it was like, it's painful, right? But then it's covered up with anger, right? And thank you for sharing that, Greg. And then Monica says, I also had no idea I was carrying resentment for 30 years because I put my acceptance in someone else. Exactly. That's the other thing, when somebody leaves you and it's so painful, it's usually so painful. And only later do you go, wow, if that person had not left me and rejected me, then, I would have never discovered the me that cannot be rejected, that cannot be abandoned. But if they had stayed, I would have never gotten to that. I would still be fighting with them. So it's a beautiful, yes. Monica says, I got this now, 3 exclamation points. My car then got hit twice after I got it back.
Little impact there.
Little impact. That was a lesson that had a lot of impact. Exactly. So and what I hear her saying is that she's getting it, that whatever it is that whatever power you are investing in outside of yourself, whatever you're investing your peace and your abundance and your love and joy in outside yourself, eventually it's going to have to be taken away so that eventually you can realize, oh, that is not what makes me happy. That is not what makes me lovable. That is not what makes me safe. That is not what makes me fulfilled. That is not what makes me safe. If, we are under the delusion that if things just go our way and nothing changes, then we'll be safe. That's the delusion. That's the comfort zone you're mentioning. That's a delusion that we're operating under. And unless those things aren't taken away, then we're going to continue to be deluded and never experience the true fulfillment, happiness, safety that can only be experienced from discovering the power that is within you, but not of you. You know, and so now we're going to see it as now we won't be able to be fooled completely again. Thank you, Matt, for saying that. But now we won't be able to be completely fooled, meaning deceived, meaning in pain, perceiving ourselves as victim ever again. Maybe for a little bit until we open up the course book or call one of our course friends, and then we're like, oh yeah, development of trust. Okay, so we'll do a little bit more and then we'll close up for the day. Let me just do something here. All right. Yes.
Anna,
Yes.
Here's one other thing I was thinking about. Things being taken away, but then I know I concentrated when I was younger on getting lots of things to make me happy, I thought. Okay, so then after a while, you're looking at the chair, whatever
right.
it was.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is not making you happy at all. So I'm like, going, why aren't these things I'm buying and putting around me doing anything?
Yes, right.
Because I found out to be truly helpful or more loving is those are the things I remember much more rewarding.
Absolutely.
They may not come all the time, but when they do, that chair, whatever, well, I'm just using that as an example. Those things I bought mean nothing.
Exactly.
They're so superficial. Well,
That's
okay,
exactly
they're there. And maybe it's nice to have them, but did I need it? That's what you just go on.
Exactly. Truly,
It's the same thing, not even getting them taken away. They just don't mean anything anymore.
That's right.
They're not making me really happy.
Right.
At all.
At all.
Very superficial.
Right. But if your house burned down, you would feel a lot of pain,
Yeah,
thinking that, and then later you'd realize, right. And if things outside of us, if having all the power, fame, money, physical pleasure, all the worldly things, if having them truly did make us feel safe and happy, then everybody who had all the power, fame, money, physical pleasure in the world would be blissed out. They're not at all, and just like you're saying, Julie, that's a perfect example, is that all the things that we have acquired, thinking this will make me feel safe, this will make me feel happy, this will make me feel loved. As soon as we got those things, then we're like, is this all there is, or what's next? And so now you're still not fulfilled, you're still not happy, but now you have a ton of debt. So now you're not happy and you have more debt because you were investing in safety and happiness, in things outside of yourself. So it's a perfect example of that. So, and then when you do invest your happiness and your experience of peace within the power within you that's not of you, then you enjoy the things you have, the worldly things you have, you enjoy them even more, and you let go of them more easily. You're actually able to enjoy them more, right? Okay, so then it says, and we're in paragraph 3, sentence 4. It says, right, how can the lack of value of those things outside of you be perceived unless you, the perceiver, are in a position where you must see those things in a different light? But we, the perceiver, are not yet at a point at which we can make that shift entirely internally. And that's why the plan for us to develop our faith in this power in us, but not of us, will sometimes call for changes in what seem to be external circumstances. Because we can't make that shift entirely internally yet, right now, I may not be able to make that shift to, hey, my happiness comes 100% from within me, knowing who I am and who created me. Since I haven't been able to make that shift entirely internally, then the plan for me to develop my trust in love calls for changes in external circumstances. I wasn't able to get that lesson, without anything that I was putting my faith in being taken away. And that's why sometimes the plan for our evolution and our growth to happiness requires the changing of external circumstances that to us seem painful when they happen. Okay? I couldn't learn that lesson entirely internally, so now my external circumstances need to change. And what you need to know about every single one of these external changes that seem to happen in your life, that seem painful, that need to happen for your growth and evolution, what you need to know about every single one of these external changes is these changes are always helpful. That's the one thing you need to know about these changes that are happening in your life externally. This change, even though I don't believe it or understand it, is helpful. That's the thing to say.
I think one of the reasons this struck me, the word that comes back to me, most people, is value.
Yes, exactly.
If you value something, it's not real.
Right.
You will not be happy. And what happens is you shift your value. Where does the value most right?
That's exactly right.
If you value is love, really.
Mm-hmm.
So if you value something else,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be taken away from this, that you change your value and love just what is real, what is the most valuable thing.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's the whole thing about value. Yes, Peter.
So when these things find their way out of your life,
Mm-hmm.
and even when you can recognize that, that they're not of value to you no more,
Mm-hmm.
the ego has this thing it does where it tries to blame you
Mm-hmm.
for them leaving.
Yes, exactly.
How do you handle that?
That's what I was talking about earlier about, when the things seem to be being taken away, that what we're doing is we say, oh, that happened because I'm a failure. That happened because they're attacking me. That happened because they abandoned me. That happened because I'm a loser. That happened because, and so we blame the things being taken away from us as we blame them, we blame ourselves, and the correct interpretation is this change is helpful. The correct interpretation is I had been placing my value, my peace, my perception of safety, my joy in that thing, in outside of me, instead of the power that is in me but not of me. So the thing to do with it is to reinterpret what's happening according to what our teacher is telling us about what really is happening. I was putting my faith in that relationship to make me feel good about myself. And so because of that, it needed to go away so that I could learn that my value and my love and joy comes from the power that is in me, but not of me. And that's why what's happening here, even though I can't see it, is helpful. So he says, so that's the thing we want to tell ourselves is somehow this is helpful to all the changes that are happening in your external world. The truth about them is that they are always helpful. They are helpful to helping you to make the shift to developing trust in the power that's in you, but not of you. They are helpful in helping you to invest your faith and your trust in the power that's in you, but not of you, instead of what you had been doing. So and then it goes on later to say that is what enables you to make it through the painful perception of that situation. What decreases the pain of the changes is where you go, somehow these changes are helpful. Somehow these changes are helpful, even though right now I don't see how. Okay. Now, and then it says, these changes are always helpful. When you have learned that much, that all these changes are helpful, then you go on to the second stage.
Carlos Castaneda used to say, if you went through the fire and you got burned, but you learned something, don't curse the fire.
That's exactly right. And so so the beginning part of your evolution, where you're taking all the faith that you had placed out in the world to keep you safe and make you happy, you're taking all that faith and now you're bringing it in and investing it in the power that's in you but not of you. This is the learning goal. This is what this is our process, our progression. Okay. And the first stage of this evolution, where you go from flying with the tiny wings of a sparrow to flying with the mighty wings of an eagle, the first stage is a stage where things seem to be being taken away from you and where externally things are changing in your world. It's like, it's such chaos. Everything's changing in my life. Okay? That's the first phase of that transformation, of that transition, from trusting in your own petty strength and being terrified all the time to trusting in a power that's in you but not of you and beginning to fly with the wings of an eagle. So it starts with the pain, where it seems like things are being taken away. And then you realize, okay, somehow this is helpful toward my spiritual development, feeling happier and safer. And then you move on to the next stage of the development of trusting in the power that's in you, but not of you. Doesn't that sound exciting? And the crowd went crazy because they were so excited about that. They're like, all right, bring on the changes. Yes.
Well, I just wanted to comment that this particular section I have found so helpful. I come back to this over
Me too.
over and over
Me
again.
too.
Because it is sort of a 30,000 foot road.
Yes, it
Of
is.
how to get through the crap that's going on. in
Yes,
your life.
totally.
It helps
Exactly.
me put it into perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And that I've just found very, very helpful.
absolutely. And I'm glad you said that, because I too, whenever I'm going through some sort of transitional phase in my life that feels painful, when there's some painful changes going on in my life, I always come back to that. And it always brings me comfort. And it reminds me to go, okay, all these changes are helpful somehow. All these changes are helpful, which then takes me on to the next stage. So that correct perception, that 30,000 view of the painful changes, is what enables you to allow that change to occur with much less pain and much more graceful. You know what I'm saying? There's a way to go through the changes that's graceful and productive and exciting instead of just torture. This is the way to experience those changes in a way that is graceful and more peaceful and a lot less fear and more productive and faster. All right? Okay. So great.
I'd like to link that idea of value, what Matt was saying, 30,000 view. So what happens when you view is, what do I value?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't value it, then you can let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But if you value that, say, value is identifying yourself. That's
Yes.
me. That new car is me. So if you don't value it,
Mm-hmm.
even if you have the new car,
Mm-hmm.
non-attachment, and you can see the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
And another word you mentioned is evolution.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's all the evolution, self-realization.
Yes,
Who am I?
exactly. Who am I? Yeah, that's the ultimate evolution is, taking your faith from everything in the world. Like, oh, if everything in the world just went my way, I'd be safe and happy. Like, and when you say that, you're like, no, we don't believe. Oh yeah, we do believe that. We literally, we have put our trust in things going our way outside of ourselves. No wonder we're terrified and angry all the time. So the whole process of evolving spiritually and having peace that cannot be shaken is where you realize, no, what's happening outside of me is not what determines my safety and my happiness. That comes from within me. That's the whole spiritual evolution. That's the whole spiritual goal here, so that you are self-sustained in your peace and your experience of safety. Not a victim of the world waiting, trying to manipulate and guilt trip everyone and everything outside of you to change so that you could be happy and feel safe. That doesn't work.
And I think,
Okay. Okay.
I think too, out of the era I came from, because I'm probably the most person in here, is that we were taught that if you got a nice family, you found a good husband, you had a good job, and you had a big house or whatever. I mean, I know I heard this all the time. You'd be happy.
I know, the American dream.
And yet, that's never, those are all.
That's exactly right.
Family's not things, but everything else is things.
That's right.
And it doesn't work.
That's right. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Why do I have this problem? They said.
I'd be happy if I had.
And it's just weird. So
I know.
a lot of that I had to say
Unlearn.
but I had to learn it.
And how did you learn it? Those things seem to have to be taken away from you.
They were.
And it was painful. And then, you evolved in your understanding. Right. Perfect. Perfect. That's right.
And believing.
Yeah,
Step away from some of that.
where changes in your external world had to occur for you to learn where the true source of your happiness and safety really came from. All right. Okay. So let's pass around the love offering basket. And thank you guys so much for. Oh, there's many, many more stages. There's many, many more stages. But the second stage. Well, if the first stage is the period of undoing, then the second stage is the period of relinquishment. Is it sorting out? Oh, okay. Sorting out. Yes, sorting out. And then period of. So, and if you guys watching on Facebook or YouTube, if you would like to make a financial expression of appreciation, if you have gotten any value out of this, if this has been helpful and you would like to support the Miracle Center in doing these classes and extending them out, then you can go to the website, which is here, Rocky Mountain Miracle Center, or you could do a super chat on YouTube. It's all appreciated. And thank you so much for supporting the Miracle Center in its purpose of sharing the ideas in A Course in Miracles with the world, to help the world to be a more peaceful, happy, safe place for everybody. So thank you for that. All right, you guys. Okay, well, there you go. That's it for today. I appreciate you all for coming. And we'll see you next week. Matt will be teaching next week. And then if you want to find out when my classes and Greg's classes are happening, then look at the details of this class. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you all so much.